To mark our 100th episode or video, I thought we'd have a more light-hearted show today and address something that I have long pondered, and maybe you have too. Who is the ultimate British military villain character? The biggest baddie, the top cad, or the king of cruelty and cowardice? To obtain our best baddie, the Class of Courage Selection Board has worked tirelessly, whittling down a long list of fictitious baddies to 5 prime candidates. Let's meet our rogues gallery, shall we? Number 1, Prowler and Predator, Obadiah Hakeswill. Number 2, Super Stud and Silver-tongued Lothario, Lord Flasheart. Number 3, Coward and Cad, Harry Flashman. 4, Blustering Buffoon, Sir Henry Simmerson. And finally, Seedy Spy, Major Ducos. Although a Frenchman, we'll give him honorary Brit status for this video. Some of you may wonder why Flasheart could be labelled as a baddie. Let's see, 2 counts of assaulting fellow officers at least, unwillingness to rescue fellow aviators had he known it was Blackadder and the Breath Monster, providing a complete lack of adequate pilot instruction, goggles on, shocks away, last one back sir, you know the rest. And finally, making off with Blackadder's lady. Therefore, even though a lovable rogue, he's an all-round bounder. We're going to grade our candidates on 3 main criteria: military prowess, success with the ladies, and number 3, military career and awards. To assess these attributes, we'll be employing a rigorously validated analytical framework. A sophisticated laboratory-grade evaluation system, originally developed and exhaustively tested within the Royal Air Force Regiment. After presenting the information at the end of our video, this high-tech, RAF-Reg trialled and tested formula will allow us to accurately establish who the biggest baddie is. Number 1, military prowess. Hakeswill gives a whole new meaning to the term blue on blue, with an officer body count likely reaching double digits. Any friendly Rupert encouraging him to charge the enemy is likely to end up on the wrong side of a bayonet or musket ball. Loving to skulk in the rear or lurk under a pile of bodies, and no doubt searching their pockets for booty, Obadiah is no budding Hector. When either rescuing noble brother flyers or dogfighting in the skies above Flanders, Lord Flasheart is always up for a scrap. However, Flasheart's entire moral compass points directly at himself, with every heroic deed just another excuse to shout woof and flex. Had he known he was rescuing Slackbladder from a German prison, no doubt would have left Slacky to stew in his own juice. A coward by inclination, Harry Flashman does appear at nearly every major battle of the Victorian era, and can bluff his way as a hero. Although this reputation for bravery is obtained through luck and lies, when forced to, he can act brave at rare times. Above all things, he is a survivor, coming through the retreat from Kabul, the Battle of Little Bighorn, and the disaster at Isandlwana, amongst others. It seems Sir Henry Simmerson's style is to treat every battlefield like an evacuation drill and pioneer strategic withdrawal. Simmerson is no fighting commander. A poor swordsman, Simmerson even loses to a priest. Although holding court as a mess bore, he's no battlefield Bonaparte. As an intelligence operative, battlefield brawls are definitely not up Ducos' dark and shady alley. He instead prefers to use brains over brawn. Although that doesn't stop him getting his glasses constantly smashed up by Sharpe. Although a flaccid fencer, Ducos does relish using his henchmen to dish out a brutal POW interrogation every now and again, but is otherwise a poor show on this front. So with military prowess out the way, let's see at the moment who our number 1 is. Using our Brainiac formula, it looks like at this stage Lord Flasheart is on top, and in terms of aerial victories is only outmatched by his victories with the ladies. 2. Success with the ladies. Our sideburn sleazeball Hakeswill often abuses his power and uses physical force and intimidation against women. Using his rank and power to coerce them, Hakeswill is portrayed by Cornwell as a pure predator and symbol of corruption. On the personal hygiene front, he believes in only washing his feet every 6 months. Whether he's skulking in stables or prowling around camp, Sharpe's ladies need to be on their guard with this monster around. A flamboyant womanizer, Flasheart steals brides, breaks hearts, and if left to stew in his own juice, would likely drown in it. For this flying philanderer, no woman is off limits. Harry Flashman, a strapping 6-footer with whiskers and dashing cavalry uniform, on the surface is a Victorian babe magnet, but his treatment of women can range from seduction and manipulation to outright coercion and force. Not good. However, he can admire intelligent or assertive women. Whether it's harassing maidservants or dominating his niece Jane Gibbons, former colonel and creep Sir Henry sees women purely as his property. Unlike Flashman or Hakeswill, Duco doesn't continually lust after women, seeing them only to be exploited as tools in his intrigues. No Love Island beefcake, Ducos is described as repulsive to women, and seems about as popular with the ladies as the David Beckham video is with viewers of this channel. Clearly the winner here is Flasheart, with Flashman in second place. The less said I think about Obadiah the better, though I do feel sorry for Ducos, perhaps with some breath fresheners, contact lenses and some snappier clothes, he might shape up a little better on the dating front. Number 3. Military career. Originally joining the 33rd Foot, Obadiah creeped and crawled his way up the ranks to sergeant, even at one point being trusted as a recruiter. However, more a sycophant than soldier, Hakeswill only gained promotion through sucking up and being a brutal disciplinarian. He does demonstrate his leadership qualities after deserting and leading a band of cutthroat renegades and outlaws in the mountains, giving himself the honorary title of Major. Although that still doesn't impress Liz Hurley. Maybe she got a whiff of his feet. It's likely that Obadiah earned at least 2 campaign medals in his time, aside from pilfering others. But watch this space, as I think I will do a video on Obadiah, a dedicated one, next month. So I'll leave those medals aside for now. Likely in his early to mid-30s, Flasheart is a squadron commander, loosely equivalent of a major, so he's up there, and as we've seen in a prior video, he has an impressive list of campaign and gallantry medals. Flasheart campaigned in India and Africa, likely with the cavalry, before joining the Royal Flying Corps. Despite his clear cowardice and contempt for many military leaders of the time, Flashman rises to the dizzy heights of Brigadier General, or Brigadier nowadays, by the end of his career, and is also a recipient of the Victoria Cross and Medal of Honour. With more campaign medals than you can shake a stick at, Flashman served in more wars than Uncle Albert had sunken ships. Simmerson, a colonel in the South Essex Regiment, purchased his way to the top. Although disgraced after Talavera, having a cousin at Horse Guards and friends at court goes a long way in the Napoleonic era, and we see Sir Henry soon recovering as a political agent and then, unbelievably, a general in the East India Company with a top royal decoration. A real climber of the greasy pole indeed. Although only a major on the surface, our sinister spy has the ear of Napoleon himself, making French generals wake in fear at his sudden arrival at their headquarters. Promoted to colonel in the books, if it wasn't for his obsessive scheming over Sharpe's downfall, his star may have risen further. We've speculated on his awards before, and he may have a few decorations from the Emperor, but kept under wraps. It's clear Harry Flashman stands out head and shoulders above the rest in this last category. So, at the moment, Flasheart seems on top, but in my opinion, we may have to give him some negative points for breaking strict ComSec rules with lewd phone calls and, generally, being too likeable for a baddie. Therefore, using our top secret and closely guarded formula, who comes out as the worst, baddest, baddie and villain? With the numbers crunched, Previously 2-1 down, it now becomes a narrow victory for Flashman. Overall, a pretty terrible human being underneath, Flashman has succeeded in keeping that a secret, and on the surface, being venerated for seeing the most action, receiving the highest number of awards, and reaching the most senior rank amongst all the baddies. Only coming second to Flasheart himself in the wanton womanizing category. So, do you think the assessment is correct? Or is it just a load of old codswallop? Let me know in the comments. As an aside, and back in the day, I actually served and then later worked with many members or former members of the Royal Air Force Regiment. And in my opinion, they were some of the most professional and dedicated people that I saw. That said, this is Class of Courage. And if we don't add a healthy dose of old school British wit and humour every now and again, with all the more serious and at times sombre content we produce, we would all go mad. Well, I would anyway. So yes, a big thanks to everyone who has subscribed and watched over the past months. I didn't really think I'd reach 100 videos, to be honest, but there you go. I might do a similar light-hearted video over the Christmas period as well. And if you'd like to support the channel, please consider purchasing the book Class of Courage and learning a bit about the British military in India in the Victorian era through a campaign medal. There's an Amazon link in the channel description. In the meantime, you probably got absolutely no value from this video at all, but hopefully a few laughs. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.